Okay, the next thing I want to show you is real quick, I'm just going to throw some simple dimensions on here. Okay, and then after we do that, we're going to put this onto a sheet of paper so we can print it out or PDF it. All right, now before I do that, one thing I want to call out is you may have taken notice of these elevation markers here, these little squares with the triangles on them. All right, now this helps with our project origin. We'll do a little more detailed stuff with that later. But for right now, what I want you to do is highlight those and drag them over a little closer to the building. Okay, that's going to help us when we set up the extent of our viewports when we put this onto a PDF. All right, so there we go. All right, so now we want to dimension, just throw some very basic overall dimensions onto our building. And to do that, again, there's two ways to do it. One, I can go up to the Annotate tab, and then I can pick my dimension style in my Dimension tab right here, which is going to be aligned, or I could hit DI on my keyboard. All right, so I'm going to click on that, and you'll notice that I have some options here. And the first and probably one of the most important ones to keep note of is where you're pulling your dimensions from. So right now it's selected for center line. So if I hover over any of the walls, it goes to the center line of the wall. Now, as you know from going through architecture theory, we don't always want to go to the center line. Sometimes we want to go to the faces of our walls. So to do that, all I need to do is click on the drop down and go to wall faces. And then I can either select an exterior face or an interior face. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just do an overall dimension of 24 feet there. We'll do an overall dimension here, should be 24, yep, perfect. And we could do the same for the interior, just to show our interior dimensions. And I'm not going to go crazy dimensioning the whole thing. It's just it's repetitive here. You get the idea. All right, so it's always good to throw some dimensions on, especially if you're jockeying walls around or moving doors around. And again, you can dimension like off of doors. So we go to this face to this wall, I can see how far that door is off that wall. So using your typical drafting conventions and annotation, you can go ahead and do that. All right. Also, we can dimension to center line of windows. So say if I want to go from the exterior of the wall to the center line of a window, it'll allow me to do that. So dimensioning with Revit is extremely easy. All right, so now I want to zoom extend just so I could see everything. So I'm going to get out of my dimension command and hit the escape key a couple times just to clear out of that. And now I'm going to double click on my middle mouse wheel, and that gives me to zoom extents. Now let's put this on a sheet of paper and PDF it. All right, so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down in my project browser and go to where it says Sheets, right? Think of a sheet of paper. We want to print it to paper, print it to PDF. And all of these sheets have been pre-populated in here into this project when we loaded our residential template, right? Doesn't mean we have to use them all, but they're all here if we need it. So I don't have a basement plan. I just have a first floor plan. So I'm going to double click on this A1 first floor plan. And it automatically brings up my first sheet. Okay, now sometimes what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna delete this view out of here because sometimes it pops up and you don't have a view, right? All you have is a blank sheet of paper and you have a title block. Well, how do we bring a view in? So to do that, or if we say like I accidentally deleted my view, all you have to go back up into your floor plans or into your project browser and pick whatever you want to put on that sheet of paper, left click and drag it over. And it comes back over. Okay, now let's say that I want to place multiple views on here, and this is too big, right? I want to place 3 or 4 of these on here. I can click on my viewport, and I could change it from 1/2 inch to 1 down to 1/4 inch to 1 or whatever it needs to be, and I can scale it and move it around, do whatever I need to do. Okay, so unlike some other programs, Revit makes putting all of your projects and whatnot on a sheet very simple. You could even put your 3D view in here. I'll show you for an example. I won't print that on there, but just to show you. Say I want to have my 3D view on there just to give my presentation a little more wow. I'll go on my 3D view in my project browser. I'll drag it over, and there's my 3D view, right? And of course I could resize it and do what I need to do, but for now I want to delete that, so I'm just going to hit the delete key and make it go away. Now I notice that I could also change my title block down here, right? So I already have Simple House located in there, but if I want to change the name of that, I just double click on the text and I'll say, The Simple House. And the owner is John Doe, whatever it may be. And you can go through and you can fill all of this in. Okay. So again, before I go to PDF, I like to zoom extents. So I'm going to double click on my middle mouse wheel to zoom extents. And now I can PDF my drawing by either hitting Control P or going up top here to the print option. And I'm just going to already have it pre-popped set up for my default PDF writer, but you can pull down and do whatever PDF printer or PDF writer you'd like. And hit OK. And I'm going to put it in my Simple House folder. Hit Save. And there is my PDF of my Simple House.